Once again, we've been in this series called Best for Last, week 3. And really, it's been so good. It's been so good through this series. And we've really just been focusing on, we've been taking a journey into Jesus' last teachings. He's saving his best teachings for last. And we say, what is it that Jesus wants us to know, to teach us before he heads to the cross? And so this week, I feel as if this week it's one of those things that we all experience, and I'm super excited. It's heavy on my heart, but before we start, I want to ask you guys a question, and I'm curious to figure out who it is in this room. Is anyone in here like totally calm during trouble? Like you guys are Mr. Cool? Like, listen, like I get it, when if stuff's hitting the fan, bro, you're like, why is everybody bugging, dog? You're like, it ain't even that serious, and you're Mr. Cool. Who is that? Who we got? Man, y'all are some stressors, man. Okay, so I'm expecting a lot of hands. Who's that person that says, listen, bro, if people are panicking, I'm panicking. And you ain't even got nothing to panic about. You just panicking because your boy's panicking. And you're like, you just start stressing out. How many is that? Let me see. So we got a little bit of Mr. Cool, we got some panickers, and then we got liars. People are like, I ain't gonna say it. So, man, for me personally, in my life personally, I'm usually pretty calm. I'm not saying one's better than the other. That's just how I am, bro. People are just bugging all the time. And I'm like, dude, like, what are we freaking out for? Like, it's gonna be cool, bro. It's like, people are like, what are you talking about? It's not cool. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, boss. And so, but listen, I'm level-headed. The crazier things get, the more comfortable I am, man. But there was this one time, dude, I was in trouble and I was panicking. And a different side of me came out. Hear me, I was no longer in trouble. I was the trouble. I was the definition of trouble. When you looked up Webster Dictionary, you saw my face like this. There I was. And that's not like me. There was this one time, and I know you guys are probably like, man, Tanner's gonna share a story from high school a couple years ago. Wasn't even 7 days ago, dog. Like this just happened, and it's bad because when I first heard it, I go, sermon illustration. I go, so hear me out, right? So we've had some good weather. It's been good, but listen, right? Before that, it wasn't so good, right? I didn't bring a coat. All I had is my hoodie. I go in my car, I'm about to leave. I go to the gas station, right? You just gotta go to the gas station. So my car's about $40 to fill up, so I'm sitting there for a little bit. I'm sitting there in my car, I'm freezing, bro. It's raining. I'm just like, bro, what is going on? I'm sitting in there, gas is going, and as it stops, I'm about to drive away, but I'm like, no, I gotta clean up some of the stuff in my car. So I'm picking up some Bang cans, some protein cookies. If you haven't tried it, shout it out, sponsor me. Protein cookies, I'm throwing it all away. So I'm going back and forth, cleaning out my car, and I'm like, oh my gosh, bro, it's so cold. I sit back down and I go, something ain't right, bro. I ain't got a Bang yet. So, in natural fashion, I get out of my car, I run back into the gas station, right? Like I'm freezing, I get my Bang, I'm running out, and I get in my car, take my keys out of my pocket, throw it in the car, and I drive away. Some of you guys are like, what? I ain't never took the pump out of the car, dude. No, listen, hear me out. I drove away, took off, pumped straight out, dude. Ripped it out, dude, and I don't even know. And I know everyone's looking at me like I'm nuts. I got this 15, 20 foot long pump hanging out of my car. I'm driving down the road. I look in my rear view mirror. This pump is, everyone's like, I'm getting, and I'm like, what, bro? I'm like, and so I'm driving. I look in my mirror. I go, stop. So I hit the nastiest UE you ever seen in your life, dude. I'm like, Tokyo Drift, bro. And so, and so I hit this UE, bro. I turn around, I swing into the gas station. I got this pump sweeping across the street when I turn. It's like what hitting other cars' tires, bro. I'm sitting it and I'm panicking, dude. Like I'm already sweating and it's like 5 degrees. So hear me out. I swerve into the gas station. I'm like, dude, there's gotta be gas everywhere. So I get out of my car, bro. I throw my hood on, mistake. I throw my hood on and I grab the pump out, throw it over my shoulder, and I full sprint into the gas station, right? I said, we got a problem. And they're like, what? Oh! And I'm like, what do I do? They thought I robbed the place, dude. I had my hood on. I got the gas. I'm like, what's up, bro? What's up? And so, dude, I run in there. She's like, what did you do? I said, I don't know. I'm just going to put this right here, okay? I'm going to put this right here. Kid you not. She said, it's fine. I walk out of the gas station. Dude, stone cold like this. I look at this man. I said, have a good one, boss. I said, no, legit. And I drove back the next day. There's cones all around that pump, bro. Just, man. Grab your jackets. It's a cold word, you hear me? No, legit. I ain't never done nothing like that in my life. And my mom don't even know, but she's gonna find out. So, anyways, dude, just panicking, didn't know what to do. Bro, I'm telling you, I was a different person, bro. I was a different person. Dude, oh my gosh, so funny. But I think this story, as silly as it is, I think it can reflect how we feel and even how we act in times of trouble, right? Have you ever been in a situation where you're just like, bro, I'm freaking out, I'm panicking, like I don't know how this is gonna work out, I got no idea, and it causes you to just be weighed down, stressed, panic. We become immersed in the chaos of our life. When trouble and chaos hit, we end up like me, sprinting into a gas station. When our world begins to crumble around us, guys, we not only really lose hope or whatever that is, but we lose focus on the things that matter. Our mind begins to transition to maybe someone that we're just like, it's too heavy. I don't know. I think it really reflects how often we feel in times of trouble and trial and sadness and heartbreak and all the above. And what's great in the series of Best for Last, Jesus understood that this was a reality. He knew that you were going to walk in this life and have a heavy heart. You were going to be troubled. You're going to face things that really hurt you. And Jesus speaks directly on this in one of his last teachings. So I want to invite you to open up your Bible if you got them. Now it'll be on the screen to the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 1. So if you're there, he just gives one statement at first, and he says, don't let your hearts be troubled. In a time of trouble, Jesus looks at his disciples and says, don't let your hearts be troubled. And I know that sounds good, right? But you have to understand, this is a wild statement, guys. Very wild statement. Because the disciples had every reason to be troubled. Every single reason. Jesus, dude, hear me. Jesus had just told them, listen, one of you is a traitor. One of you is going to betray me. What? Oh, yeah, Peter, by the way, you're going to deny me 3 times. Not only that, but here in a couple hours, I'm going to go to the cross and I'm going to die. I'm not going to be with you on this earth. And he says, don't let your hearts be troubled. I can only imagine the disciples' face when they heard this. I would have been like, what? And I'm sure they probably thought, there's no possible way that I can sit here and not be troubled. Jesus, don't you see what is going on around me? And he's like, I see you. I see everything. Don't let your hearts be troubled. And if we're honest, maybe for some of us tonight in this room, we're really, really resonating with these disciples. Maybe for you, you are personally facing a lot of hardship. And maybe not even everyone knows what you're going through, only you. Maybe for you, your heart is so fearful of what is next for you. You don't know where the Lord is possibly taking you. You don't know what the next few years look like, or maybe even the next week. Or you got relationship conflicts. There's tension there between your relationships, and it's been going on and on and on, and all you want to do is just figure out a way, but it doesn't seem possible. Maybe for you tonight that your heart is troubled because you feel like you're walking through a fire and you're all alone. And you're sitting there like, does anyone see me? Is it even possible not to feel the things I feel? And Jesus says, don't let your hearts be troubled. Because here's the truth. If you're taking notes, you can write this down. Jesus doesn't promise a life without trouble. We know this. But he does promise that we can have an untroubled heart, even in a troubled life Jesus promises we can receive an untroubled heart, even in a troubled life. Even in the midst of your most painful trial, your deepest fear, the thing that you think only you could ever possibly walk through, your darkest time, the things where you're like, I don't understand. I don't know if I can ever get through this. Jesus says, don't let your hearts be troubled. Not only that, but it's possible. The God of peace. And guys, if I'm sitting in your seats tonight, if I'm you, and I'm looking at my life, and I'm really walking through some stuff right now. My heart is heavier than me. I'm asking the question, how do I receive an untroubled heart? How do I receive that? How do I begin to experience what our God offers us? Because Tanner, my life has a lot of trouble in it. My home life is really hurting me. I'm battling with some things in my head that no one knows about, and I can't even go about my day because I just sink in my thoughts and I sink in my heaviness of my heart, and I don't know if the Lord sees it. And the answer is very clear from Jesus. And he gives it right after the command. And it's this, John 14:1, he says, don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God and trust also in me. Trust in God and trust also in me. And guys, I understand to trust in something, it's a lot easier said than done, right? I get it. But what Jesus is saying to his disciples is, listen, I know you guys see the troubles ahead. I know you see I'm about to leave and I'm about to go to the cross. I know you see the difficulty that awaits you because I see it too. But trust that my Father is doing something far, far greater than your mind can even imagine. Trust that what I am doing, I see everything possible. I see how this story ends. I see past the mess. He says, trust that I am God, the creator of all things, the one who works all things out for those who work me, not some things. He says, I work out all things for those who love me. And you're walking through a storm, but you have to understand, I have to go to the cross to die so that you can walk in freedom. And they didn't understand that, so they trusted, and look what happened. They were bought at a price. And for you, if we can stop spending time focusing on the problem and spending time focusing on Jesus and saying, I don't want to stare at this anymore. Not that it's not there, but I want to fix my eyes over here, that I'm going to chase Jesus even harder because I know that he works things out for those that love him, even if I don't see it. To fix your eyes off of the problem, spending time with the solution. Guys, many times in my personal life, I know I've felt this and I've seen this and I'm thankful for this. That many times the way to get where God wants us to be, it's not around the mess. It's right through it. The person that God has called us to be sometimes is right through the mess. I wish it wasn't like that, and I'm sure you do too, but I look at my life and I'm thankful for every mess I've ever walked in when I didn't see a way out. The only thing I had was to trust in a Father that said, Tanner, I see you, and I know you're going through it right now, but I'm working these things out. Scripture says, my ways are not your ways, neither are your thoughts my thoughts. Look how much higher my ways are than yours. You don't see it, but I promise you, you will look back if you focus on me and rejoice with me. If you focus on Jesus through the mess, the distractions, the chaos, your heart will begin to find peace, an untroubled heart, and a troubled life. And if you don't believe me, I challenge you. For 1 week, try. What do you have to lose? If you're taking notes, fix your eyes, not on what is seen, the trouble, right? But on what is unseen, Jesus Christ, the Father. It's very easy to get laser focused onto what is seen, but I challenge you tonight to say, I don't want to focus on the things that are seen because it's going to weigh down my heart, but rather focus on what is unseen, Jesus Christ. And I ask you tonight, Jake was talking about reflecting, and I ask you to reflect briefly. Where is your focus tonight? Where's your focus been the last week? Maybe where's your focus been the last year? Is it on the trouble? Are you so focused on the trouble? Or is your focus on Jesus, the sustainer of life? Guys, I've been way too focused on trouble in my life, and it's done nothing but lead me down a rabbit hole of solutions that I don't have the answer. But I've noticed that when I stay in his word, I stay in prayer and meditation and say, I know, Lord, you are working things out for me. He began to reveal things that I never would have seen because my eyes were blurred by the trouble of this world. But spending time with the Father, he said, Tanner, I'm not even going to reveal all of it to you, but I'm going to minister to you, and I'm going to give you my peace. And he did. And guys, what I love so much about this passage and throughout the whole Bible, what I love is that Jesus not only offers an untroubled heart in this world, but he's preparing a place for you that there's no trouble at all. Wow. He says, listen, I love you enough, and I am all-powerful and almighty, and I hold your life in the palm of my hands, that I'm not only going to give you an untroubled heart in the midst of your doubts, trials, and anger, but not only that, you can walk in freedom and peace now, but when it's all said and done, guess what? I'm preparing a place for you in heaven where you will have no trouble at all. And oh my goodness, you mean to tell me I can walk through my darkest season, and I can feel the presence of Jesus Christ, and then not only that, when it's all said and done, and I'm under the ground, that I am rejoicing in heaven? What? Oh my gosh, dude, Jesus is saying, I love you that much that I'm going to cure you now and take care of you after. I love this. A place that cannot compare to the troubles you are facing right now. A place that can't even compare to your greatest victories. A place that your human brain can't imagine. He says, that's where I'm going, to prepare a place for you. And right after Jesus says, don't be troubled, he says this. In John 14, verses 2 through 3, he says, there is more than enough room in my Father's house. If this were not so, would I have told you that I am going to prepare a place for you? When everything is ready, I will come and get you so that you will always be with me where I am. It says, my Father's preparing a home for you, a place of residence for you and I. And there's nothing that you can do when you've accepted Jesus Christ that will make him change his mind. My junior year of college, dude. So I know, like, once you guys go to college, if you go, you will realize that your living situations are absurd. You are with people that you may not like. You are with people who don't live the same way as you. Luckily for me, I had 6 of my college teammates, but still, we were different people. It was constant chaos. Like, dude, anytime you get 6 people, especially 18 to 23, 22-year-old dudes in one place, and you're on your own, things get weird, bro. Okay? Like, it's gross, it's greasy. It's constant chaos. You can ask some of my roommates, I couldn't do homework in my room. I couldn't do nothing, bro. Like, if I wanted any peace and quiet, I'm just like, dude, it's constant chaos. Always. Like, when I went to bed at night, I expected something to happen. Not even like, man, I hope it doesn't. I locked my door and stuff still happened, okay? Let me tell you about a time, my junior year, I lived in this lodge, right? Dude, whatever, bro. I lived in this lodge, and Brax, where's Brax's group at? Shout out Brax, man. Brax came down from Fort Wayne and said, hey, I want to stay in Indiana Westland. I'm like, yeah, for sure, bro. But I got to tell you, it's going to get wild. Like, it's just, there's no peace and quiet. He comes, and me and Brax, we're wild. So we go to bed that night, right? And my roommate is gone, so Brax stays in the same room as I do across. Brax wears contacts. Brax falls asleep in contacts. Brax wakes up in his contacts. It's a problem. I wake up to Brax. So Brax got up in the middle of the night because his contacts, right? I wake up to Brax. Dude, I'm stone cold. If you've ever seen me asleep, you are not waking me up. Brax is waking me up. He's this close to my face and goes, Tanner. I'm like, oh, what's up? He's like, Tanner. He's like, hit me, dude. I'm like, what? It's 4 a.m.? And he goes, there's a duck outside in the living room door. Now, you have to understand, I just woke up. I'm like, ain't no way. And where's he come from? Who's he associated with? Where are his roots? And why is he in my room? He's a menace. I don't like it. So I go, where's he? He goes, he's right outside. Braxton woke up to take his contacts out, opens the door. He goes, he's like, hold on, bro. So I get up, right? Now I'm locked. You should have seen me. I was in my pajamas, bro. And I'm like, it's me versus the duck, right? So now you can't make this stuff up. We open the door, and I'm like, where's he at, Brax? He goes, he's right there, he's right there, he's right there. I'm like, he ain't there, bro. There's just a pee trail right there. And I'm like, we follow that. So now I'm creeping, and I have my phone out, bro, and he's sitting in the kitchen like this. And he's like, I'm like, what's up, bro? Beat? I'm like, what the? But like, you coming at me, bro? You see those beats, bro? Ain't no game. No game. Yeah, right. Anyways, I walk out, right? And he's like everywhere, dude. And I have a video of when we found him, not to mention, I found out who it was, and they picked our lock and came in and trapped him from this Gas City Zoo. If you don't know, look it up. Got a duck. Check this video out, bro. This is when I first found him. Look at him, bro.
Bro, if it takes off, I'm not kidding you. I'm out of here.
And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, there's another video, but it was too dark. You couldn't really see it. And so now here's the issue. Here's the issue. It's mano, dude. I'm like, what's up, bro? I've been waiting my whole life for this. And everyone's looking at me like, what's Burns going to do? And me and Brax are like, come on, dude. So I'm like, we got to get him out of here. So we start throwing bread. I'm like chasing him around. I'm like trying to, and Brax is like this, trying to get him out. I'm like, we just got to get him out. So we eventually get him out, right? I shut the door. I'm cracking up. And I'm like, what the heck? But then I'm like, that's a menace on the loose. I'm like, he's going to go to his next victim. And I'm like, if no one's going to step up, I am. So I take off after him, bro. I take off. And now there's tons of people, tons of rooms out here, right? And now I'm chasing him, and he's not having it. And I know the entire lodge heard it. Look at this. This is me chasing him, dude. Imagine being asleep, and you wake up at 4 a.m. to that. And you open your door, and there I am, boom. What, bro? We eventually got him out. I'm not going to mention that the reason they did that was because I put a duck in someone else's room. That's another story. But dude, like I literally woke up and I'm like, dude, can I get one night without chasing ducks in my underwear? Like, please? But what's funny, when I was in college, if you asked me when I was in college, Tanner, where do you live? I would have said, well, listen, I live in this lodge, okay, with a bunch of hooligans causing mayhem and got nothing better to do. Now, I was part of those hooligans, but I said, I live there. If you would have asked me, this is what I wouldn't have said. I wouldn't have said, well, this is my home. This is my home. This is where I'm comfortable. I'm welcome. The thing is, guys, I looked forward to going home on the weekends. I would go home. The light was always on for me. My parents were there. The door was always open. I would go home. Me and my dad would laugh. He would just make me food, and I've already eaten, and I'm like, bro, like, We would laugh and he would love on me. He would encourage me. My mom would encourage me, ask me how I'm doing, and I just felt comforted for a moment. I would eat better than I have in the past couple months, weeks. That was home. That was home. And Jesus says, you have a home, not a living situation. A home, and it's not here. More importantly, he says, I'm going to come back. I'm going to take you there with me so that we can be together with no troubles, no anxiety, no stress. He says, I'm going to come back. I'm going to take you with me. And so Jesus says, I know you're going through it, but don't be troubled. For your current sufferings cannot compare to the glory coming. And what is beautiful is that he gives us an untroubled heart in this life if we trust him. But he says, I'm going to give you a place where you never experience another trouble ever again. I got everything right here in the palm of my hand, and you're going to make it. It's okay. And I challenge you to set your hearts on the things to come. Set your hearts on Jesus Christ. Not only here on this earth, what is to come, but when he returns. Not only that, but he is expecting your arrival. He has confidence that you're going to be with him. Revelation chapter 21, verse 4 says he will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things is passed away. Your pain, your troubles, your tears, guys, they will be no more. And Jesus Christ is preparing a place for you, and he's building it where you are welcomed, you are loved, you are appreciated, and he looks at you and you're the apple of his eye, and he says, I told you so. Rejoice. And so tonight, I just want to conclude with more reflection. On the back of your handout, I want this to be very personal between you and God. I understand that we smile in this place, and a lot of us, it's authentic, but maybe for some of us, it's like, I don't want to smile. I'm going through some trouble. I want to challenge you to take a moment, and on the back of it, it says, Lord, I give you my blank. And I want you to write something that is so heavy on your heart, something that is weighing you down, that the enemy wants to use to distract you from Christ. And then underneath it, there's a statement that says, when trouble comes, I will blank. And I want you to reflect on an I will statement. An I will statement is saying, when trouble comes, and maybe it's right now, but when trouble comes and I'm faced with darkness and I'm walking through the fire, I will do this. And maybe for you, that's saying, I would just want to run and be still in the presence of God. I want to ask God, Lord, what is it you could possibly be doing in the midst of my trouble and my darkness? And I will seek your face when I'm in the trenches. So I want to give you some time to do that.